What's up everyone? Welcome back to my First Start School YouTube channel. In today's lesson, we are continue working on this task application using the Flutter GetX package. This is what we done from the last lesson, and we have finished adding a task to the home page of our task application. We can add the new task type by pressing this add button, and we can type the task name and select the task type, right? And by hit this confirm button, you will be able to add new task type. However, you are not allowed to add the same task type. Right? When I hit confirm, you will show duplicate task. We also do some user input validation. For example, if you hit this confirm button without input anything, it will show error message. Set you must input your task title. Okay, and that's what we done from the last lesson, and we will continue working on the new feature, which is deleting the existing task and add the new to-do item to specific task. So if you are new to my channel, feel free to reach out to my channel page and you will find a Flutter app from scratch tutorial includes this task application using the GetX, and also we have Flutter UI from scratch tutorial, Flutter GetX tutorial, Flutter widget tutorial, and Dart programming language tutorial. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel, sum up my content, and also open the notification so you won't miss out the latest Flutter tutorial. Okay, without further ado, let's get started. First, let's open our Visual Studio Code and the iOS emulator. So first, I'm going to finish some steps we forgot in the previous lesson. And let's go to the server.dart. We're going to comment out the 9th line, and I'm comment out this line 10. Then we're going to save it, right? We are not going to clean out all the tasks when I hit this restart button. We're going to keep it, so we probably need to comment out this right task every time when we restart this application. And the next one is we are going to dispose our edit controller. So I think we forgot in our last lesson. So before we call this super on close, we're going to dispose our editing controller. So let's save it. Okay, that's pretty much it. And we're going to implement the floating action button, and then we can drop our task card and delete it. So let's back to the view.dart file under the home folder, and we're going to implement floating action button after this body attribute inside this scaffold widget. So after the body attribute, we're going to implement this floating action button attribute. And here we're going to use this floating action button widget, right? And we're going to implement it is on press, but we left it empty for now. And we have a child just using the material icon, right? Which is the add icon. So make it constant, and by saving, you will see our floating action button here. Then we're going to define an observable variable inside our controller to indicate if the task is being deleted, right? So we're going to create a new observable variable, which I'm going to call it deleting. So by default, you'll be false. And then we're going to write a method that can change its value. So it will be a void. I'm going to change deleting. We will receive a boolean type. Right. I'm going to set the deleting value equals the value. Okay, so let's save. Then we back to the view.dar, and I'm going to wrap our task card with another widget, which is called LongPressDraggable. And we will implement some required attribute. So the first one is child, another one is the feedback. So we already implement the child. So for the feedback, we're going to do probably the same, but we change the capacity of the task card. So we were using opacity, this widget, right? And we have opacity attribute. I'm going to set to 0.8. And then for it is child attribute, I'm just using the task card. So I'm going to save it. And you will see when I long press the task card, now it actually can be jogged. And also we will change the opacity when it jogged. There are some no required attribute inside this long press joggable, but we still need to implement. So the first one is on drag started, and we're going to call our controller dot change deleting. I'm going to set to true, and our deleting variable will set to true. So another one is on draggable cancelled. So when you cancelled, I'm going to set our deleting variable to false. Still, we can copy this one. I'm going to say to false. And we also have another one. It's on draggable end. We're still going to change it to false. Okay, that's pretty much it. And I'm going to save it. So in order to see those variable, so I can going to change this icon. So if we have deleting set to true, we're going to change to delete icon. So in this case, we can use a controller dot deleting, right? Dot value. If it's true, we're going to use icons dot add. Otherwise, we will use something like icons dot delete. Or maybe we're going to reverse it. So it's delete. Otherwise, it's add. We're going to remove this constant keyword. So let's save. Also, we need to wrap our floating action button with the OBX widget. Okay, so let's save. And now when I long press our personal task, and you will see this floating action button icon actually change. Okay. And then we can also change its color. So for this floating action button, we will have a background color. We will check the controller.deleting.value. If it's delete, we're going to use colors.red. Otherwise, just using the blue color. So I'm going to import library and save it. So now when I don't press this personal task, the floating action button will change to a red. And when I cancel it, it will back to the blue color. So how can we implement the delete function when we drag the task? So the first one, we need to make sure we pass the data when we long press this draggable widget. So we will have a data attribute inside this draggable widget, and we're going to pass our element. And then indicate our long press draggable will pass this task object. And then we will receive in another widget, which is called DragTarget. So we're going to wrap this floating action button with our DragTarget, which is here. So let's wrap it with our DragTarget. Okay. When you move your mouse to this DragTarget, you will see we have this required attribute, which is the builder. So we're going to change our child to the builder attribute. And then we're going to cut our observable widget, and we will return our observable widget, right? And changing this comma to semicolon. And inside this builder, we will receive 3 parameters, but we're not going to use them in this case, so we will make it anonymous. Okay, so let's save it. Another attribute we need to implement in this DragTarget is this onAccept. Going to find this builder. After builder, we'll have onAccept. This onAccept will receive our object, which is the task object. This is task, and we can specify in here. Will indicate we will receive the task object. We're going to import library. So in here, it will indicate we will receive our task object, which is this one when you long press it. And we will call controller.delete task. Right, we're going to pass our task. And then we're using this easy loading to indicate we delete our task. So then we're going to implement this controller method. So let's find our task controller. Going to create a method inside our task controller. Okay. So here we're going to receive our task, and this one is pretty straightforward. We just call the task.remove these tasks, because we implement the equatable. We will compare the task. If they have the same name, same icon, and same title, you will delete it. So let's save this delete task method in our controller.dar, and also save it in our view.dar. So let's test it. So first I'm going to remove this sport. So by long press, I'm going to move here, and okay, you see we have deleted our task successful. And I'm going to try this one. By long press this movie to watch to this delete icon. Yeah, indicate we delete successful. So next I'm going to try when I long press this task card, but I didn't move it to this delete icon. I just move it here, and I unclick it. You will see here back to the normal position. So the next we're going to implement the pop-up dialog when you press this floating action button, which you can type your to-do item, and you select the specific task type, and you add it to that task type. You can find this design here. So back to Visual Studio Code, and we're going to create another file under this widgets folder. So we'll create, I'm going to call it add dialog. there. So it should be a stateless widget. Going to import the material there, make the key nullable. And first we will find our home controller. Then we need to import the library for GetX and also for our home controller, and remove these constant constructor keyword. So for this build method, we will return another scaffold. So inside this scaffold, we will have our list view. Okay, so inside this view, we're going to create our go back button, and also this done button, and the new task title, and the user input, also a list of icon the user can select. So the first one, I'm going to use this road widget. It should be inside this children attribute, right? And we have road widget. Okay, so for the road widget, going to make it a space between. Change the main axis alignment to space between. So for the first trial, would be your icon button. We have onPress and the icon attribute. So for the onPress, we're going to call the get.back. Okay, and also we have an icon. Icon will be constant icon, material icon. So just using this close icon. Okay, and we can save it. Probably, I think we need to import this add dialog in our view tutor. So here, and we're going to return get.to, right? And we'll pass our add dialog. Going to import the library, and also we would like to change it is a transition. Okay, so for the transition, we're going to use transition dot down to up. Okay, going to save it. So when I press this floating action button, I will see another page which will pop from the bottom to top. You also see we have a close icon here, and when I press it, it will trigger our get.back, which will close our dialog. Okay, and we go back to our add dialog. We're going to style it a little bit. So another element inside this row widget, we're going to put the text button. So the text button will have our text for a trial, which is done. Right? Going to style it using text style. We change its font size. Yeah, maybe we need to import this extension on our double. Okay, so for the onPress, I'm going to leave it empty. Also for this text button, I will change it to style. I'm going to use button style. We have this overlay color using material state property or I can change color transparent. Okay, so let's save it, and you will see our done button. Right, when I click, you didn't see anything, right? Because we implement this style attribute. Let me comment out the style attribute, and you will see when you press, it will show the splash effect, right? So I don't want the splash effect, so I just change the button style, make it transparent, so you won't able to see the splash effect when I press this done button. Okay, and that's pretty much it for our first row, and I think we probably need to give it padding. So I will wrap the padding widget for our row widget, and which we're using the edge inset.or. Probably give it 30.breakpoint. So let's save it. Okay, things good. And for our icon button, we could leave these on press for now, but we will add some clean stuff in these on press attribute. Okay, next, after our row widget, we will have our title. So it should be a text widget. Have our new task. I'm going to style it using text style. So for the text style, we will change the font size and also change the font weight to bold. Okay, let's save it. It's better to give it padding as well, so we will change the padding for this one, and here we're using the symmetric. We only give it a horizontal padding, which is 5 breakpoint. Save it. So after our title, we will have a text field. So here I'm using the TextFormField because I want to validate our user input. So let's use TextFormField. So when we use our TextFormField, we're going to wrap our list view in another widget, which is form widget. Right? We will have a key and to access our home controller form key. Okay, so let's save. So for this form field, we're going to pass the controller. We could use the same controller, which is edit controller, and we're going to style it. For the decoration, we could use input decoration. So in the input decoration, we have a focused border. So the focused border, we're going to use the underlined input border. So for the underlined input border, we will change the border side. Border side, we have color. Dark gray, 400. Okay. And you auto focused, going to set to true, and then we will have our validator, and we will pass the value and going to check if value equals none or a value dot change is empty. Okay, and we will value. please enter your to-do, okay, item. Otherwise, I will just return no. Okay, so let's save it. But probably we'll give it the padding again. So we'll give the padding, and here I'm using the symmetric and only give it horizontal padding. So for the horizontal, I will give it 5 waypoint. Okay, that's pretty good. Next, after the font field, we're going to create the subtitle, which you can see from this design file. We have this add to title after the font field, and we will list out all the icons associated with the task type we have created. Okay, and let's try to implement that. So let's create a test widget. We will have this add to, going to style it, and we're using the text style. Going to change the font size, which is 14, and also the color. We're going to use the gray one. Okay, so let's save, and we will need to give it padding. So here we're using the edge inset dot only. So for the top, we'll give 5 waypoint, and for the left, also 5 waypoint. For the right, also 5 waypoint. But for the bottom, we're going to give only 2 waypoint. So let's save it. And next, after this subtitle, we're going to list out all our test type. So we're going to access our tasks, right? I'm going to use map function. We'll convert to a list. So inside this map function, we're going to return a row widget. So inside the row widget, we have a children attribute. So for the left children will be icon, and the right children just the title associated with this task tag. So for the left child, I'm going to use the icon, right? And will be icon data, and we can access the element icon. In the font family, we can use material icons. Also for the color, we can use the color we store in our element. X color dot from head dot color. Okay, I think we can save for now. And you see we have 2 task types. The first one is our personal task, another one is our work task, and you see those 2 icons show on our add dialog. Next to the icon, the text widget have the element title. Okay, I'm going to style by using the text style. And change the font size using this responsive and change the font weight to bold. Yeah, let's save it for now. And we better to give it a little bit gap, so we're using the size box. Okay, and for this entire row we can give it the padding, so we will wrap the padding for this entire row, and we were using this symmetric. For the vertical, just 3 weight point, but for the horizontal we will increase to 5 weight point. Okay, and let's save it. Then we will need to create another observable variable to store the task type when we click it. So back to this control.dart file under this home folder, I'm going to add another variable task equals task. We could give it an initial value and make it nullable. So this task is also observable. We could using it inside the OBX and make it default null. And we have another method to change the value. I could write change task will receive the task, and probably will change another name. We are using task.add equals select. Then we're going to implement click event. So first, let's back to this add dialog.dart. We will wrap this padding widget with our inked whale, and we have on tab attribute. So inside this on tab, I'm going to using this on controller dot change task, and we will receive the element. Okay, and then in order to see which task type we select, we'd better give it some indicator. So I'm going to give it another icon to show if it's select. We're going to have icon to indicate that. So if the value equal admin, right? We could using constant colors.blue. Okay, so let's say currently you are not able to see it because we are going to wrap this entire ink whale with our OBX, and to change it to the OBX. And now you see when I click, I can show which task I'm select. So going to wrap it with another row, so I can use space between to make it along to the end. So we're using main x alignment dot space between, right? Then so for those two icon size box and the text. I'm going to cut it, and we're using another row widget, right? And we paste here and save. It looks better now. However, suppose I'm select this work and we close our dialog when open again. You will still remember our last choice. So I'm going to do some cleaning stuff when I press this close icon. So I think it's here, and we're going to clean up our home controller, the edit controller .clean, and also we're going to clean up our change task. I'm going to make it now. Okay, and save it. So now when I random type something and I close it, open again, you will clear our last choice. So how about when we press this done button? So currently we haven't implemented any yet, so I will start to implement this button when we press the done. So first we're going to access the phone state. I'm going to validate the user input. We can use in this home controller .phone key the currently state the validate. Okay. If it's validate, we're going to do something. So first, going to check if our home controller task value should be selected, right? So the user input we validate, and then we're going to make sure the user also select the task type. So this one is make sure the user also select the task type. If user not select, we're going to show the error message. I'm going to say please select the task type. Otherwise, it indicate user select the task type, and we will first write another method which is inside our home controller, update our task with our to-do item, right? So this method we're going to implement later. So if it's success, I'm going to give the message using this easy loading dot show success. You can say to do item at success, right? And then we'll close our dialog, and also we need to clean the select task. Going to make it none. Right. So if it's success, if it's fail, I'm going to show the error. Still using the easy loading dot show error. We could say the to do item already exists. Okay. Right. And then no matter if it's success or failure, we all need to clean this edit controller. So let's put it here. Okay, and let's say we're going to implement this update task method. So for this update task method, first we need this task type, right? So we will pass our home controller value. Another one would be the home controller controller.text. And also we already make sure this text value is not now, so we could add this not now simple here. Next we will implement this update task method. So we will create the update task method in our controller.tar. Indicate we will receive our task and also the title. So first we create our to-dos will equals task.todos. If it's not, we're going to create an empty list. Then we will check if it contain our to-do. Going to pass this to-do and also the title. So this method we're going to create now. So let's create a method. We will return the boolean value. It's contain this to do, and you will receive the string type of title. It should be title right here. And first just return the to-dos any. So inside we have this add element. We will check if element dot title equal the title. Okay, so let's save. If it's contained, we are going to return false. Otherwise, we could create another to-do item. Title would be the title, and the done going to set to false. Right, and we're going to add it to our to-do. I'm going to create a new task equals task.copy with. Going to pass this to do, right? And then we will find the old index for these tasks. The index of then we can replace using our new task. I'm going to return true, but also we need to refresh our tasks. Okay, that's it. You can save it, and also save here as well. So now we could test it. For the personal, we're going to add one. So for me, I'm going to make a video, right? And we add to this personal one. So when I hit this done, you see immediately add to this personal task. It will increase to 1. Right? You could just press this done button. It will show please enter your to-do item. Right? Close, open again, so we could write our block. When I hit done, it said please select the task type. So we're going to select this personal again. Remember we have this write block, right? We can done. It will increase the total task to 2 for our personal task, right? We're going to add another one. So remember last one we have the right block to our personal task. So when I hit this stamp, it will show this task already exists. Right? You see, to-do item already exists, so it will clear my to-do item. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for today's video. We covered delete these tasks, and also we can add the to-do item to specific task. For next tutorial, we will implement the detail page for specific task type. As you see this design file, we could done the existing to-do item, and also we could delete it. So we probably will leave it to our next tutorial. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel, sum up my content, and open a notification so you won't miss out the latest Flutter tutorial. Okay, thanks for watching. I will see you in next video.